Hello, book lovers. Welcome back to the channel. Visitors, if you happen upon the channel, feel free to join us. We would love to have you here. Hello there, fellow book lovers. It's me again, and I'm back. This is your host, Blue-eyed Black Devil. Welcome back to the channel. Listen, I know it's been a minute since I last posted, so right now all I want to do is just chit-chat and give you a little bit, keep you up with what I have been doing in my absence from YouTube. I have been reading. I want you all to know I have been reading. I think I just kind of read for enjoyment. It really felt good, I must admit, to read and not have to worry about taking notes and dealing with video editing and all of that. But I do believe I'm about past that now, and I'm ready to dive in deeper. Plus, the last video I did, the video revisited of the book The Help by Catherine Stockett, I got literally one or two comments or responses from you all. Now, I don't feel like you all are just not seeing the video. Well, you probably are not seeing the videos, but it's probably due to no fault of your own. I do believe this is YouTube. I don't know. I think maybe the subject matter is something that YouTube doesn't wish to be discussed at any length or great detail anyway. So I think that's why these videos weren't pushed through the algorithms, but they're still there. I haven't taken them down. So if you did not see them, feel free to just type in Blue-eyed Black Devil, and then you will find Video Revisited, The Help by Catherine Stockett. I think it's 4 videos that I did on that one book. But it just, not really complaining, but I just want YouTube to know that I am aware of, when it looks like the more I try to put into making these videos, is when I get the least response. So from here on out, you may see maybe a book cover or the little emoji of the little girl waving. You might see that until I can kind of get a grasp of what exactly is acceptable by YouTube, because all of those hours and hours of reading and editing and uploading just to get, 1 or 2 comments, if any, that can be a little disappointing, but I refuse to let it steal my joy. Now, I got all of that out the way, on to more fun or pleasant things. Like at the end of the last video I posted, I told you that I was probably going to read a book called If She Only Knew by Lisa Jackson. I believe I featured her on one of my About the Authors. Well, this was the first book I'd ever read by her before, but I'm telling you, it was very, very good. It's like a thriller suspense. And when I finished that one, the sequel to it is called Almost Dead. That one was also good. It just overall, I'm just going to give you a gist of the story. There were twin ladies, put it like that. One of the ladies' names is Marla Cahill. And then, because it's been a minute since I read it, but I believe her twin sister's name, was it Deirdre? Oh, no, just scratch that. But Marla was married to this one guy. She had been in a near-fatal car accident, and so she had been in a coma for 3 months. And when she woke up, she still had severe amnesia. So her memory was coming back in bits and pieces. And come to find out, the man she married was the older brother of the man she really loved. Well, when all of this is coming to light, we find out toward the end of the book that she had a twin. And the twin was the one who was supposed to be married to Marla's husband, Alex. And then, okay, that twin that I can't remember her name, I'm sorry, y'all. The twin I can't remember her name, she was the good twin. But then Marla was the bad or evil twin. And somehow they got switched. Well, then we learned after reading Almost Dead that Marla actually, she was the bad twin, she actually had a daughter that she remembered nothing about. The daughter was raised by someone else. And she grows up and she lives in the town where the Cahill saga, where all of them live, so to speak. And she befriended another woman in the town, but she was reaping all kinds of habits behind the scenes. She almost caused this one couple to break up. Oh, she just did all kinds of stuff. But at the end of the day, come to find out, she was the one behind. She staged the car accident trying to kill her mother, Marla, but she ended up killing the lady that Marla was driving along with in the car. Then she tried to kill her baby brother. Now, it's been a couple of months ago since I read it, but somewhere in there, the twins' dad, really, he was very well off, very rich, very, very rich. But he did not really care for women, even his own daughters. But at some point, he was in cahoots with Marla's, well, for all intents and purposes, we'll just say Marla's husband, Alex. Alex, and he was just really there. The twins' father was wanting to have a male heir. He felt like there had to be a male to pass his namesake as well as his fortune to. So Marla did have a son. But the boy ended up being raised by her twin sister, the good twin, and the good twin's husband, Nick. Nick was the younger brother of Marla's husband, Alex. Alex ended up getting killed. Yeah, he actually got killed in If Only She Knew. Guys, it was pretty good. It kept me like midways to near the edge of my seat. Those two books were great. I would recommend those. Again, that's If She Only Knew and Almost Dead, both by Lisa Jackson. And then, let me see, I also read a series by author Carl Weber called The Family Business. Now, this book or series is a bit grittier and raunchier than Night Taste. And I'm no prude, but I mean, really, for me, some of the language could be graphically toned down quite a bit. because the underlying story was still a good one. It was about this, really it turned out to be like a competition between the Duncan family, and I think it's like 5 men rather. The Duncan family, they were using their car dealerships to launder drugs through. And this man raised every child he had. He had, let me see. He had 2 daughters. Yeah. What was their names? I know one of them's name is, what is it, London or Lyric? Y'all ever have to go back and brush up on those. I guess I won't name them. But anyway, I know he had the 2 daughters, and then he had like 5 or 6 sons. Now, one of his daughters was a twin. Okay, yeah, that daughter's name is Paris. Paris has a twin brother named Rio. And then the man's oldest daughter's name was London. Every one of their children, he and his wife's children, they were named for places that the mother had always wanted to visit growing up, but, they were just too poor. And so she just, when she met and married and started having children, because there's London, Paris, Rio. The other ones escape me, but they are all places around the world. And she actually, eventually, as her husband rose through the ranks, they were actually able financially to go to all of the places that bore her children's namesake. But one of the things I don't like about this particular type book is that, well, this book in particular, every time someone is getting ready to be unalived, if it was one of the women who had to do the unaliving, they always ended up having some sort of a last night or last fling, tawdry, whatever, knowing how long they're going to end up unaliving that person before it's all said and done. They wouldn't be any wiser for it. I don't know, maybe it's just me. If I know I had to do something like that, the last thing I would be trying to do is get a little bit on the side before I do what I'm supposed to do. I didn't like that. And now I read it. I pulled up 5 books. But then I saw something called The Grand Opening. And then below that it said a family business novel. So I don't know if the last 2 were books 6 and 7, or if it was like a prequel and a sequel to the 5 that I read in between. But like I say, overall, the storyline was good. We see what happens when you reach the heights and all of this stuff. And then we also saw what happens when all of it goes awry. Would I recommend this? Yeah, I think I would. But these types of subject matters or these type of works, to me, remind me of like vitamin A. A little vitamin A goes an awfully long way. And that's what this book or this series reminded me of. I've read other books by him that I liked a little bit better, but I think it's just this book, the subject matter just didn't really bode well with me, sit well with me. But, so let me see if it's anything else that I've read today. Oh, yeah, and just last night, I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was telling me that she had started reading this book by Danielle Steele, and I know she was one of my About the Authors. And this particular book is called All That Glitters. And for all of you Danielle Steele fans out there, you know all of her books. Usually there's always going to be some sort of ritzy, glamorous person or couple. And then they'll just have life happening to them like it does to us every day. Now, I had no intentions of reading this book, but she brought it up again last night, and because the night before she had said, well, so far it's a pretty good book, but she was trying to set the scene. Well, then last night when I talked to her, she said, I guess I'll get up and go and read a little bit more of this book, she said, because she is about to make me mad. The main character in this book's name is Nicole, and they called her, Nicole Martin, and they called her Coco. Now, Coco had a best friend named Sam. This was a man. Her best friend's name is Sam. Now, Coco was an only child, but her parents were, her mother was what I guess we would consider to be a trust fund baby now. She came for money, but her husband pulled himself up by the bootstraps, so to speak. But they only had the one daughter, Coco. Now, her best friend, Sam, is Jewish. He's the oldest of 4 children. And neither one of their parents wanted them to date. And they didn't, but they were really, truly best friends. I did gather that. They really were best friends. They were always there for each other. They would move heaven and earth when things were bad and great. So I did like that, and at the end of it, those two, Sam and Coco, eventually ended up getting married. Now, Coco ended up marrying twice before. But, excuse me, Coco's parents died in a plane crash. I think she might have been 17, 18 years old when that happened. And one of the people who was over her parents' trust or the estate, he ended up taking advantage of Coco, coming on to her and all of this stuff, leading her to believe that he loved her only to bilk her out of her money. And so that's how that one ended, but at least she didn't have any children. Well, this second guy she married, she got pregnant. Now, she caught him, or she found out, rather, that he had been cheating on her. And she forgave him, and they went on back to living their lives. Well, one day she goes and finds out she's pregnant. She comes running home to tell him, opens the door, and finds him in there with a woman in their marital bed. And so she was like, that's it, I'm done, it's over, it's up, it's not up for discussion, point blank. And she had only been married to that man for 11 months. That's it. And after he found out she was not going to come back, and she had, in fact, filed divorce papers, then he tried to start negotiating what he wanted out of the divorce. And long story short, he wanted $37 million of her, her money that she had before they married. And I guess his lawyer must have talked to him or something, because he then sends word through his lawyer to her lawyer to say, well, if I sign over my parental rights, I want this particular property. So she and her lawyer discussed it. And the lawyer was asking her if this man really was sure that this is what he wanted to do, because the lawyer was like, I don't know. The judge may find, well, we're not going to take the baby. We will take the baby out of the equation, but if they do, it isn't necessarily going to go good for either one of you. But he still said, the man she was married to still said that's what he wanted to do, so that's what they did. But when they went to court, the judge looked at the stuff. She was like, 'cause see, you had a job where you were making X amount of money per month, I think like $6,000 a month. And his living expenses did not exceed that. So he was asked, one of those $37 million was supposedly for pain and suffering. How are you in pain and suffering? You're the one constantly committing the A word, the scarlet letter word. And she did tell him that he was going to get $55,000 a month for 11 months, because the way she had it calculated, if I'm not mistaken, if he had continued to work and never married her, that's about what he would have made in 11 months. But she granted him that, and then afterwards, he wasn't going to be able to have access to any of her money. So for his sake, I hope he spent it wisely and get on back out there and find you somebody else to rip off. But at the end of the story, Coco and best friend Sam ended up getting together as a couple, and I believe they got ready to get married. But now, in the meantime, Sam, like I said, was the oldest of 4 children, and he was Jewish. Well, his parents did not want him dating anyone outside of the Jewish faith. Well, that's not strange. I think we all have been raised to believe that you need to kind of stay with whatever your denominational affiliation is. But then they tried to say, we want you in the family business. We want you to take over. Well, he had 2 sisters and 1 brother. The brother was the youngest of all 4 of them. Now, the father died unexpectedly. But when he died, the sisters were not able to attend any of the services surrounding or involving their father, because they had been excommunicating for becoming Christians. And then his youngest brother, or only brother, was the only one of them who ever really wanted to practice that faith, and he really wasn't trying to do the family business thing, which was some form of law. I can't remember what. But so Sam was the one that ended up being the quote-unquote dutiful son. He did go ahead and take over the business after their father was no longer around. He married the exact type girl his family, or at that point mother, wanted him to marry. And together they ended up having 4 children in 5 years. Well, that last baby, his wife ended up suffering from postpartum depression. But it was, that's what we thought it was. But she was depressed, but it had nothing to do with the baby and their family. She was depressed because she had fallen in love with another person in a totally different sect of people. Because even if she hadn't done that, if you have 4 children in 5 years, that's enough to break anybody. No matter the amount of money and help that you probably could have. So, that's why I think it wasn't a surprise when, they said that she had postpartum depression. But she wanted a divorce, and then she decided that she wanted to go to law school. And so he was telling Coco about all of this because, like I said, they truly were best friends. I don't think it was anything they didn't know about each other. And so he knew all the good and the bad about her, and she did him. But in spite of knowing all of that, they did end up getting together and going on, because he had 4 kids, and Coco had the one by the husband of 11 months. That little girl ended up with, what was that, leukemia, some childhood leukemia. Said it was easy to treat, and thankfully she recovered. So all is well that ended well with that book. Let me see. What else did I read in the meantime? I'm pretty sure it was something else. I can't think of it. But anyway, in a nutshell, that's what I have been doing. And now I am at a cross for what I will read next. But I just wanted to come on here, chit-chat a little bit. It's been quite a minute, I know. But that's all that's been going on with me. What all have you all been doing since last we met? My daughter's back in school, and we're halfway through the first semester. That's going okay, pretty good. And other than that, everything else is going okay. So with all of that being said, I think I'll wrap this video up for now. And I'll come on sometime soon and tell you the next book I am going to read. Oh, I got one other thing to say about YouTube. It's getting harder and harder to try to gauge my words or what I say here on YouTube. Every time you turn around, you're at risk of being copy striked, or what is something else they say, shadow ban. I don't know what any of that means, because fortunately I have not had it happen. But at this point, YouTube needs a thesaurus, so that we can start trying to have other ways of saying what you don't want said. You can't say anything that involves, let me see. Well, I think we all know what DV means now. We all know what SA is now. We all know what unalive is now. But I'm just running out of creativity when I'm trying to come up with a way of saying what it is. I'm not exactly sure what the point is in that. If it's not to offend, well, all of these other euphemisms that we have to say is still offensive if you know what the real thing is. Like if I say tomato and YouTube prefers tomato, you still know tomato is one and the same. So it's got to be something more to it than that. But yeah, that's something else that's been in my body as of late. I'm tired. I needed a break from trying to sit up to see how I can reword or rephrase something just to keep from not being pushed through the algorithm. Well, I think I've said all I wanted to say this time for real. So, oh yeah, sorry about that. It's been a long time, y'all. But in my absence, I forgot to tell you all, or maybe I did, but if I didn't, we have gained 2 new subbies, 2 new subscribers. Yay! Blue-eyed black devil. Yay, yay, yay. The best subscribers in this world. Yes, indeed, we got them. We right here. 2 newbies, or 2 subbies, 2 subscribers. Even though the last video, I'm not sure what they saw that made them join. I'm just glad that they did. But if they happen to watch those revisited videos and they still chose to join anyway, it speaks to me. It's saying that I must be doing something right. If people are still doing it, even though something has not been seen by those of us who have been here all along, then I must be on the right track, and I'm picking up the ball, ready to bounce again. So thank you to all of my subscribers, from my last ones to my day ones. I thank you, one and all, and visitors. Feel free to join us over here. We really do have fun whenever we get together. We really do. I enjoy you all so much, and I look forward to your feedback. And then, everybody, please don't forget to like, share, and should you happen to honor me by leaving a compliment, and I hope you do, please do so respectfully. And by all means, make sure your notification bells are set to on so you will know every time I upload a video, or you'll know as best as I can tell you that I have uploaded a video. And if you don't see me, just search for me, Blue-eyed Black Devil, on YouTube and Facebook. And in the meantime, book lovers, remember this. As long as there are books around, there is always something to read. Book lovers, be safe out there. Thanks for watching and or listening. And God bless.